So the book is called The Land of Flying Llamas and Other Real Travel Stories from the Indian Himalaya. I think the name says it all. It's real stories that me and people who have traveled with me have experienced on our travels in the Indian Himalaya to various regions, and I've tried to combine them with various local legends, local myths about the kind of life that people lead in remote parts of the Indian Himalaya. And I'm hoping that after reading this book and reading the stories, you get excited enough to consider it as an option to travel to the Indian Himalaya. See, reality is stranger than fiction. So, there is actually everything that's written in the book is, something that has happened either as part of, our trip, or has happened to, basically they're real stories, they're actual stories. And the name Land of Flying Llamas comes from this one particular valley called Dharma Valley, one of the remotest places in the Indian Himalaya, right on the border of India, Nepal and Tibet. And the Lama there, who was our guide, he appeared to be a very special person, and had a lot of calm demeanor about himself. And when we would come across a remote village, then every villager will come and bow to him. And we asked him that, are you a special person? Why is everyone doing this? So he told us that, or rather the villagers told us that he's a special Lama with a special power, and he can fly basically. So the cynics that we are, and with a lot of sarcasm, we asked him, "Oh, so you can really fly? Why don't you fly from this mountain to that mountain? We'll just see." But he appeared completely at ease with all the cynicism around him. He was totally at peace with that, and only later towards the end of the trip, he told us that his story, how he became a Lama, how he was educated during his childhood and his sleep, all those things that we kind of think of as magical realism, seems to have happened to him in real life. And he also told us about his power of flying, and how and when he can use it. So you can read the book to get to know exactly when or whether he can fly or not. See, basically the book covers pretty much the entire Indian Himalaya, so which means it starts from, the stories start from Kashmir, go on to Ladakh, then move to Himachal, then to Garhwal, then to Kumaon, then to Sikkim, Darjeeling, and finally to Arunachal Pradesh. So basically they cover all the Indian states through which the Himalaya passes, and try and give a little bit of information about those places along with the stories. Yeah, so these are all trips that I have gone with a group of friends or a group of trekkers along with me, and these are all our own stories. Exactly. So they are basically structured as different regions of the Indian Himalaya. So there are 10 stories from 10 different regions, and they cover, as I said, all the Indian Himalayan states. Yeah, so we cover the villages that we come across while we are either trekking or we are visiting a remote part of the Indian Himalaya. So the villages and the stories of the interactions between us, people from the cities and people from those remote places, form a very integral part of these stories. So and that was the intention also, to get that voice out. I'm from originally I'm from Punjab. I belong to a small village near Chandigarh, very much in the foothills of the Himalaya, and probably that also explains my fascination with the mountains. But I have been living in Mumbai now for almost eight years, and the people who travel with me are mostly hardcore, city people. People who have lived their entire lives in cities, who have traveled all over the world. But this is the first time for most of them, that they are going to a remote place, to a small village in the Indian Himalaya. So they bring a very, very different perspective when they come to this kind of a holiday compared to a 5-star Paris holiday. So just that whole setting becomes very interesting. A 5-star holiday kind of a person going to a very remote village where there is no electricity, the phone doesn't work. People have not seen anyone carrying a backpack. Forget about anything else. So it's a very interesting interaction that happens. I think you put it correctly. I do feel that I sometimes belong to both these spaces because of my constant travels in these part of the Himalayas. I do relate to those people. I do relate to their way of life. At the same time, since I am based in Mumbai, I do relate to people who travel with me who are from these cities. So I I think I just play the role of an observer who tries to enjoy this whole interaction that happens more than anything else. So that's what I think I do. See, one of the things that I do is probably I kind of I fit more with the group who's traveling with me. Also, that puts them at ease, and at various levels, that's where probably I also belong. I really don't belong with the people of those places. That's a blessing that they have, and just by visiting them for a few times, I cannot be part of their life. So I pretty much, my place I know is with my group. So when it comes to choosing places, I'm very much with them, and I also share their feelings, their apprehensions, their fears when when we are in a remote place. So I can understand them. They know that I understand them, and that's very important, I guess. Yeah. How many years? See, I have been trekking for almost 6 years now, but the stories from in my book, I think pretty much are from my first 3 years of travels. So I was telling my publisher that I have 3 more years of travel since then, and I'm pretty much ready with my next book also, because I do travel almost 15-16 times in a year, and almost invariably every other trip supplies me a very nice, interesting story. I think the central message is definitely about trekking, about demystifying trekking. That trekking is something which is the best way of experiencing Himalaya. And if you do want to travel in the mountains, do consider trekking as probably the number one option. And through this book, through the kind of stories of people like me and you who have trekked there, who have traveled there for the very first time. So it just tries to demystify trekking. It tries to make it a very accessible thing to do. It's not a activity which needs any preparation. It's not something that only fit people can do. So the message that I hope that book puts across is that trekking is for everyone. So I guess stop thinking, start trekking.